Switzerland interest rates remain at the record low of minus 0.75%. Karl is on the line to provide his insights. Kurt, do you believe that SNB is capable of stabilizing the value of the Swiss franc?
Well, it's done a very good job this year, so I think it has to continue to keep a negative differential with the European Central Bank. There was no move this morning on the Swiss franc of significance, despite the European Central Bank having lowered its negative deposit rate. So this gap of 0.75 to 0.3 is sufficient for stabilizing the currency. And they have some reserves. Its reserves have been growing, foreign currency, to counter any further strengthening of the Swiss franc. We don't expect that. You'd have to have something really bad happen in the euro area for that to happen. But so far, we think that's muddling along okay. So steady as she goes, and certainly they seem perfectly competent at keeping it in this range of, I suppose, 105 to 110.
Switzerland's economy stagnated in the third quarter, mostly held back by a weak-performing energy sector. Going into 2016, do you expect the economy to keep up this lackluster momentum?
We do expect a pickup in economic activity. We don't find a major problem with the weakness in the third quarter. Exports grew, for example, but business investment is weak because the Swiss franc is so strong. The energy drop-off, which was large, mostly attributable to good weather, so that was nice for people in Switzerland. With respect to going ahead, a lot of the decrease in exports and investment has already happened. We expect a fairly steady currency next year. So we'll assume that things will get better throughout the course of next year. It takes a while for a strengthening of a currency to hit the economy. Some of that seems to be behind us already. As I mentioned, exports grew in the third quarter. It'll be just a slow turnaround, but lackluster because the major trading partners are not growing robustly, mainly the European Union. And in addition, we still have the strong franc to end with next year. So not a lot of strength. We have 1% growth next year, going up from 0.8 this year. So a little bit of improvement.
The Swiss manufacturing sector seems to be struggling with the Swiss franc appreciation. The SNB is clearly concerned about the overvalued currency. So where do you see the currency moving in the coming months?
As I said, it's expected to stay about the same. One of the wisest forecasters of exchange rates I ever had work with me always said the trend is the trader's friend, and the trend has been basically steady as she goes, and so we expect it to be steady as she goes at least for another 6 months. It could be a little bit of weakening towards the end of the year, but I wouldn't really count on it. And Swiss manufacturing is fairly robust and capable of adjusting to this stronger for Swiss franc. So it'll get better as they adjust and become more efficient and put in place the cost efficiencies as well as the improved products to compete in the global economy. The big thing for the Swiss franc is the Eurozone and the European Union, and that is slowly improving, so that will help the franc weaken. The better the European monetary union does, the euro does, then the Swiss franc can weaken against that. As the politics and all these kinds of things are resolved. As it is, the euro is weakening, and that helps the Swiss franc because it's tied to the euro. So the Swiss franc is weakening against the dollar and the renminbi, for example, which are also trading partners of the Swiss franc. So that helps the economy. But the Swiss franc, we expect it to stay pretty well locked into this range, maybe 105 Swiss francs to buy a euro to 110, something like that.
Thank you, Kurt. That's all from me. But to keep updated with all the latest market moves, keep clicking back to Dukascopy TV.